Well, joining me now is elections correspondent at the Federalist, Brianna Lyman. Brianna, thanks for joining me. This government shutdown continues and the Democrats continue to embarrass themselves. Let's take a look here as House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries gets into a public spat with Republican Mike Lawler.
You voted for the one big ugly bill, correct?
I voted for a tax cut bill that gave the largest tax cut to Americans in history, including, by the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that?
You're embarrassing yourself right now.
You want to cut the standard deduction in half?
The largest cut to Medicaid in American history. You voted for that.
Fraud, and abuse, by the way.
Voted
Tom DiNapoli, the Democratic controller of New York,
let me ask you a question.
Pointed out that $1.2 billion were wasted.
Listen, you're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over me
New York residents
because you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Brianna, what did you make of that?
Democrats are holding the government hostage right now, and they're trying to do everything they can to deflect from that, which includes people like Hakeem Jeffries trying to have viral sound bites to make it seem like he's fighting on behalf of his own constituents and on behalf of Democrats nationwide. And that's simply not true. The crux of this entire argument is Democrats during the Biden years, they voted on temporary extensions for subsidies for the Affordable Care Act that they knew would expire this December. When they cast their vote for these temporary subsidies, they knew they had an end date. If they had so much of a problem with an end date, why did they vote on the legislation to begin with? And Republicans and Democrats have now some of them have agreed for a one-year extension of these subsidies. That way, we can get the government open, give Democrats what they want, and in the next year, work towards a permanent agreement or negotiation. And Democrats are refusing.
Look, I want to get now into an exclusive you wrote on the Federalist, which revealed an ambitious bill pitched by Republican Chip Roy, which would allow ICE agents to deport adherents of Sharia law. Brianna, what more can you tell us about this proposed bill?
Yeah, Chip Roy is really spearheading this fight to get radical Islam out of America. So what this legislation could do if it was passed is, first and foremost, individuals who want to come here, foreigners, let's say they are part of a mosque or type of group that is adherent to Sharia law, that would be flagged for immigration officials. That person would not be allowed to come to the United States. Let's say they get to the United States and we find out they lied. There would be enforcement actions taken against them. And let's say someone came here before the law took place and we now know they are involved in a mosque or some kind of organization that believes in Sharia law, there could be enforcement measures to remove them from the United States. And it's really heartening to see finally a legislator take serious the fact that there are some cultures and ideologies that are incompatible with Western values, and Sharia law in particular is incompatible with the West.
Do you think this could actually become a possibility one day under the Trump administration? I mean, we've seen how the administration has taken very seriously already people on college campuses that have preached hate against Jews and support for Hamas.
Yeah, I think right now, given the government shutdown, this isn't going to be on anybody's top 5 priorities, unfortunately. So I have a feeling this might need to be reintroduced a few times before a serious, successful vote could take place.
Yeah, fair enough. There's a lot going on there at the moment. Late night comedian Jimmy Kimmel, if you can even still call him that, let's just call him an activist. He's back in the news this time, claiming that his comments surrounding the death of Charlie Kirk were mischaracterized. Take a look.
I didn't think there was a big problem. I just saw it as distortion on the part of some of the right-wing media networks, and I aimed to correct it. The important thing to me was that I was able to explain what I was saying, what I was trying to say.
Because you felt like your initial comments had been mischaracterized.
I didn't feel like it was.
They were.
It was intentionally and I think maliciously mischaracterized.
See, Brianna, it's everyone else's fault for not understanding what he was saying there.
Yeah, and what he said wasn't even hard to understand. He tried to claim that the Charlie Kirk assassin was a MAGA or Republican. And the reason that that was so egregious and so unacceptable is there is immense amount of violence targeted towards conservatives in America today. And to try and diminish or downplay the significance of the violence that people on my side of the aisle are facing by accusing this shooter of being MAGA is not only insulting to the moment, it's factually inaccurate. And, it was the parent company of ABC News that pulled him off air because he was going to double down on his lies and on his incendiary rhetoric. It had nothing to do with the Trump administration, and he refuses to take accountability for it. So I suspect he will probably make some more egregious comments down the line and be fired.
Well, maybe that's not such a bad thing. I know the left is crying about cancel culture. All of a sudden they care about it, but he makes his bed. Let's move on to immigration and take a look here as Kentucky Republican candidate Andy Barr says he endorses mass amnesty for illegal aliens.
What we need in immigration reform is bipartisan. We need a bipartisan solution on DACA. We do need to fix that situation for young people who are undocumented, who were brought to this country no fault of their own. We did provide in the bill that I voted for in the Republican Congress, a legalization of that group that provided protection from deportation.
Brianna, maybe Barr should be running as the Democratic candidate instead.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better myself. His position is wholly disqualifying if you want to run as a Republican today. Look, when it comes to amnesty, to whatever degree it is, that is a non-starter for America, and it's a non-starter for MAGA voters. And one of the biggest reasons why is Democrats have made it very clear, Beto O'Rourke, Maxwell Frost from Florida, that every person who is not deported will be turned into a voter because they want to legalize these illegal aliens. And when you legalize them and put them on a path to citizenship and they get it, they're going to be able to vote. And what does that mean for Democrats? It means they're importing an entire voter base. The second thing is the obvious. You do not reward criminal behavior. I don't care if they were brought here when they were 2, they can go back with their parents. I don't believe in family separation, send the children with these families. America is not an economic opportunity zone, and our immigration policy should be created to benefit the American citizen, not foreigners.
Country music star Zach Bryan, he's been slammed for the release of his new song Bad News, in which he appears to take a swipe at ICE agents. This is just some of the song.
And ICE is gonna come bust down your door, try to build a house, no one builds no more, but I got a telephone. Kids are all scared and all alone.
He also goes on to sing about the fading of the red, white and blue. Now, this has led to Secretary of Homeland Kristi Noem calling the song completely disrespectful. Bryan has now apologized, saying, "I serve this country, I love this country," and the song itself is about all of us coming out of this divided space. Brianna, this is just a week after the NFL announced singer and anti-ICE activist Bad Bunny as the next year's Super Bowl halftime show. What is going on there in music and culture?
I really wish I knew, and I think Zach Bryan should keep politics out of his music because, 1, Republicans also listen to country music, but 2, and more importantly, what ICE agents are doing by enforcing longstanding federal immigration law is they're restoring our sovereignty. President Trump has shut the border down, but our border extends past the physical, geographical boundaries surrounding the United States. It's also about laws pertaining to the border, i.e. people who cross the border illegally, whether they did it last year or 2 years ago, still have to be held accountable. And President Trump is trying to make that happen. So to see public pushback the way we're seeing it, to see violent rioters the way we're seeing it, is really upsetting because we are trying to restore our sovereignty and send the message that no one is above the law, including the illegal aliens who hop the border.
Brianna Lyman, thanks for joining me.